Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Indie Credible Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Xander Scully, and joined with me from his trip in Indiana, I'm talking about Jeffrey Wittenhagen. Jeff, what's up?
I'm alive. I'm here. And I was jet lagged. I'm actually doing all right today. We got back in town, back into the amazing Retroseum basement. That's literally just a Mortal Kombat sign right now, but it'll
Yeah,
grow
it's
to
yeah,
huge.
it all starts small. You think all of this was built in a day? Like this is like 2 years
No,
of my like studio, like just putting up
no.
things. That's always the fun part, like getting a new
No,
space. And
it was wild. It was like right after we recorded. And we usually have like a 2 week backlog, people. So we recorded
this is a very current episode,
because
like
we
super current.
recorded 2 weeks ago, and the day after we recorded, my whole household goods were delivered. And so technically I got a Mortal Kombat 2 cocktail one up arcade over here. And I got some other stuff here. But so I've been since I got home the last day, we've been unpacking. So like we gotta focus, kitchen and bedroom, and now we went down here and I started getting some stuff feng shuied a little bit so that way I
Mm.
can get ready because we'll go down what happened out in the Indiana Travels.
I was like going to like Photoshop you as Indiana Jones, but I just didn't have enough time. But when I read the show notes and wrote and I saw like Indiana Travels, I was just like dun 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 dun.
That's right. That's what they call the dog, Indiana.
Oh yeah. So
Uh,
any big boulders? You had to dodge any big boulders or anything like that?
I mean, when you're flying Southwest, there's a big boulder every damn time trying to find a seat. Wild. Yeah, man. It has been a crazy time. And right since we're at the beginning, this weekend out in Chicago, I will be at the Video Game Summit out in it's like southern Chicago. It's also near Galloping Ghost Arcade. And out at the
Mm.
Galloping Ghost Arcade, the Angry Video Game Nerd will be there this weekend as well because there's a Godzilla con there too, and so
What?
yeah, so
Jeez.
it's the Nostalgia Critic, Angry Video Game Nerd, and there's another big YouTube movie guy that are all going to be there.
Godzilla.
Godzilla thon.
Oh man,
Yeah,
love
so
that.
but I'll be at Galloping Ghost, I'm sure, or not, I will be at Galloping Ghost probably before they get there. But the Video Game Summit's a very nice, small convention. It's a really fun
Mhm.
one. I will be bringing some books, only like special editions. That's all I have here, and some art. Like I got stuff like this because Paul Niemeyer, Mortal Kombat art, still be there. But yeah, I will be out there this weekend. I think I fly out early as shit Friday, and it's
Mhm.
a 1 day con only on Saturday, everyone. So if you're gonna try to hit up the Video Game Summit when you hear this episode, because I mean it's current. It is this weekend out in Illinois, and we'll probably hang out because it's a hangout convention. So
Yeah, I like smaller conventions. Like there's just something about it. I mean, I feel like you can just hang out with people a lot more. There's a lot more. It's because I've been to some like the big conventions and it's like just too much to do. There's like so
yeah,
much like you're gonna miss out. Like I go to a lot of anime conventions, so like I'm like, oh man, I want to go to this panel, but if I go to this panel, I'm gonna miss this panel, and it's chaos. So I like the smaller conventions because you can actually sit down and talk with guests or other people that are going to visit and stuff like that.
yeah, and I'm sure I'll have crazy stories. Trying to convince everyone to go to Three Dots and a Dash, which is a legendary tiki bar speakeasy that's out, but it's like 30 minutes away. So I don't know if everyone's gonna want to drive
Mm.
there, but I'm gonna try to convince them. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Xander. And
Mm.
Indiana travels. Holy crap. So flew out, and the goal was the first Monday once I got in, I had to move the whole Retroseum into a U-Pack in order to ship out here to Colorado. And so this was Kyle's entire condo of retro video games, of figures, and what I call retro tchotchkes, like crazy shit that you don't even think any human should have. And you just showed us a Godzilla. Have you ever heard of Eggzilla?
No.
Eggzilla is a classic 80s toy, Xander, and it's this little Godzilla, and you do a little timer, and you have to build the egg around him. And if you're down in time, he goes, and he blows up like perfection.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so random tchotchke, crazy retro shit. And my daughter wants to have both bedrooms. There's a guest bedroom down here in the basement, and then her bedroom as retro museums as well with all the weird stuff.
It's always good. It's always good.
But I'm pretty sure as I was packing the actual U packs, I sent you a picture, did I not, Xander?
I think the
And
arcade.
and so there was one thing, but the other thing was I thought I had packed up all the rare stuff, and I did not.
Oh, that's right.
And so there is something, everyone, that we are going to be doing, and it's going to be freaking crazy. So, back in the day, Kyle and I were collecting all the NES games, every one
Mhm.
of them. And I thought that there were always two games that Kyle didn't have, the two big heavies of the
Mhm.
licensed NES collection. And I had made the book because we were hunting for the games, and I wanted to track on all the ones that we were getting as we were getting to the Twilight. And we had found like Little Samson and Pennock Restaurant, $50 a piece back in the day, which were expensive at the time. Um, and so this is the interesting thing. So I was looking and I'm like, in the case, I'm like, what the hell is that? So I take a picture and in the case, not in my other collection where I moved all the expensive stuff, sitting there is an NTSC Stadium Events.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, just in like a Tupperware container. It's like
with the Tupperware container filled with games and it's right in the front. And I'm
oh
like,
yeah.
how the hell did I miss? And so and so I asked Kyle's mom, she's like, oh yeah, he had that. And I'm like, really? Because so here's the thing is that I think I owe it to finish the complete NES
Oh
collection.
yeah.
And the one game that's missing, Flintstones 2, Surprise at
Mm.
Dinosaur Peak. So that's a heavy. But when I was paring down and packing up Kyle's collection, he had areas where these are my doubles. And then
Mm.
there's a spot above the bar. These are my triplicates. And there's a spot in the bedroom. These are my like fours. So I should be able to use only duplicates and trade up for a Flintstones 2 Surprise at Dinosaur
Yeah.
Peak. And so
Yeah.
I reached out to a couple of YouTubers that do nostalgia channels and seeing if they were interested. And I mean, like Retro Liberty, I've known
Oh
Aaron Riff
yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
And he also works with Caleb, who does Phoenix Resale. He also just started a game store. So I was like, hey, I got this story. I got this thing. Maybe we'll make it into like a whole edited YouTube thing where, like, because like Aaron, like Retro Liberty, does editing stuff too.
Yeah.
So I don't have a channel that's worth anything. There's like 50 subscribers, 500 subscribers, whatever. It's like, it's nothing. It wouldn't be enough to do justice for the story, but I would lend the story to theirs and I'll put it on a Blu-ray or something.
Yeah.
And also, I'm going to make it into a book. So
Hmm.
take pictures of all the retro museum items, including, everything. Like, I figure it'll be like a volume type deal. So as we are cataloging things when we get them here, and so what you do is you put things in a U pack, and it was 100 degrees in Indiana when I did this, by the way. Um,
Jeez.
yeah, my nephew Zach helped me out, which was awesome. Payback for what he did to me the day before, and I will tell you about that. And yeah, it was wild, and there's video proof, as you saw. But what you do is you pack the U pack up, and then they ship it to a U-Haul facility, and then put it on a semi and send it to whatever location you want. Um, we actually went back and put some more stuff in the U-Pack later and put
Hmm.
in an Apple tracker, and it's already in Colorado, actually. So
Oh
it's already here.
wow.
Yeah. But we ended up, I thought we could get everything in one. There was way too much stuff. So we filled up two containers, which is why I grabbed my arcade that you had mentioned. So my
Hmm.
Donkey Kong Jr., it's all cocktail, but it's all metal. And
Yeah, it looks
I had,
awesome.
and I cleaned it up. And made sure it all works perfectly. It's all stock. and I added like silver Nintendo logos to the side, which add like the little chef's kiss, like perfection to
Mm.
it. So that will be coming here too, to accompany my Mortal Kombat 2 cocktail. That is the one up, which I play it for Repair Tapper.
Yeah,
So
I have a Street Fighter 2 arcade one up, and it's funny because I never really played anymore, but it's more of a conversation piece now. Like when people come over and they're, oh, you got Street Fighter 2 on the arcade? I had like some maintenance guys that were fixing some leaking pipe, and they saw it and they're like, oh, we want to play.
and it's weird that I look over and it's Carlos Pacino over there, who I know. So like, he's on the side, like, yeah.
It is
That's
wild.
funny as shit. That's funny as shit that he's just sitting right over there. Yeah, so that was part of it. We did some game hunting, and I got some games, which was cool.
Mm.
I did find a pretty rare Nintendo DS Japanese only game, and it's
Ooh,
called like Degaisio Band Beat Brothers, something like that. But
sounds cool.
it isn't the Nintendo DS one. It's the expansion, and the expansion is on the Game Boy Advance that goes into the DS and
Ah,
gives more songs for the beat games. It's a rhythm game. But the weird thing is, if you go online and look up the Gaisio remix, whatever it's called, you only find the case only. I got a collector's box version,
wow.
and
You
so it
know what?
doesn't exist.
What's interesting too is like, would that be in a Game Boy Advance like expansion? You couldn't play it with something like the Nintendo DSi. You couldn't use that or
Nope,
3DS because
nope.
it did away with it. That
They
sucks.
did away with it. So yeah, but it's an oddity. So I try to look for oddity stuff when I'm out hunting.
Yeah.
The other thing I found, which is right over here over my shoulder, is I got Tomba for
Oh
the Switch.
yeah.
For the Switch. And the price that they charged was what it would cost shipped from limited run to get the regular edition, and I got the limited edition.
That's
So
awesome.
I thought that was cool. That was a place that had bought a lot of Kyle's stuff that we did not have room for. There was a
Mm,
lot of like aftermarket Transformers and stuff that we just didn't have room for. So
mm.
they had some limited run stuff there, and I'm like, oh. And so I bought that, and I think my sister bought some PS2 stuff. But
Nice.
yeah, but it was a really fun trip. I linked up with my old buddies, the Retro Raiders. We used to play video games every Wednesday back when I was in Indiana when my daughter was first born. We used to get together and just like play, and we would go and we remember hunting indie Nintendo homebrew games. And so Nintendo Age was the site back in the day. And what we would do is we would find out that something's coming out. Like there's this game called Star Keeper that came out
Mm.
on the NES. And we were like refreshing the freaking forum, waiting so we could pre-order our copy of Star Keeper. And it was like 10 p.m. And I think the dude was out in like Hong Kong or Korea or something, and they moved it to eBay. So then we all had to like scramble to get to like,
Oh
but that's what we
wow.
were doing. And then we had on the wall, we had a bar sign that was the Retro Raiders score card, and were playing League Bowling on the Neo Geo. We were playing the Homebrew World Championships 2012, which is like a compilation like the Nintendo World Championships, but for homebrew games. And we would
Hmm.
all set our high scores every week too, and like compete every week. It was fun as shit. So we all just got together with our wives and significant others and drank at
Yeah.
Evil,
Hell
Evil
yeah.
Czech Brewing Company, Evil Czech, which is an old brewery that was out there, and it was fun. So got together with old gaming buddies, which is cool. And after that, I went to my dad's house, who doesn't have any air conditioning, and I was sweating it out. That's when we were texting. I'm like, "Oh, I don't have any internet out here, man."
Yeah.
And that was after the sound craziness. So I sent you a clip of how loud my in-laws' house is, and it's just
Yeah.
like chaos all day. Like you're gonna hear feedback right next to me because the air conditioning unit here in the new house that's right where I'm sitting right now because
Yeah.
we don't really have a lot of areas yet. But it's like, yeah, my in-laws' house was crazy to record. Then my dad's house had it was just no air conditioning, so we were
Oh,
dying.
that's terrible.
Yeah,
Not
so
a fan.
outside of that, like I wasn't really game hunting, but
Mm.
did play something for this episode after you talk about what you've been playing or what you've been up to.
Yeah,
You've
I
been up to
mean,
some stuff. You've been up to some shenanigans, apparently.
oh man.
Hacking
None.
all the meat, you said?
Yeah,
Hacking
but
meat?
Pat, well, it was 4th of July. It was 4th of July, and I work in a meat department, so everyone had to have their steaks and their burgers, and so yeah. By today, like before we record, I was telling you, I'm like, man, I'm so glad the holiday's over. I mean, it was nice. I had a couple of days off before the 4th of July. So having 3 days off, I felt like I was on vacation, and I still didn't get done with as much stuff as I wanted to do. But I played
Dude,
some games. I played some
well,
games though.
I feel like the whole time I was traveling, like I really couldn't get much done just because we're
Mm,
constantly moving around and doing
yeah,
stuff. And it's just I did find a crazy oddity of a Sega Genesis 3 randomly. I
yeah, I
found in a
saw
box,
that.
like random shit, but I could like get into it. But I did do one thing for this episode.
Oh yeah, oh
What
yeah.
did you get into?
I I got into some 32X. I don't know why.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but I remember I even when I texted to you, you're like, that's random because I had a
It was
couple.
after I sent you the Genesis picture.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
you're
it was
like,
some psychological thing, but I was just like, man, I want to play Mortal Kombat 2, but I want to play it on the 32X. So that's what I was doing. But I did play some indie games. I played Chronicles of the Wolf. Okay.
I'm very interested to hear your opinions because that would have been in the new and noteworthy had you not played it.
Yeah. It's got a demo, so you can try the demo out. Now, what's interesting about Chronicles of the Wolf is the developers are like, they're known for their Castlevania stuff. Like they did a lot of the fan-made games, like the Lucari Chronicles 1 and 2. They did that Waylacia game that I remember we weren't too big fans of. It was like the game with the girl that
Oh,
threw.
Wallachia or whatever.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it was almost like a Contra meets Castlevania sort of game. It was
I think it was too
right.
bare bones for us, is what it was.
And that's kind of my issue with Chronicles of the Wolf. You know,
Okay.
Chronicles of the Wolf is fun. It's a fun Castlevania game. I think the problem is have I not been, doing an indie podcast like with this show, if I wasn't, really diving into a lot of Metroidvanias, this game would be like a holy grail. It'd be like, holy crap, this feels like because it feels like Castlevania.
Yes.
Even has the original voice actor for Alucard. He does a cameo.
No shit. Does he say
Yeah.
this is a black disc?
But yeah, like it's not a bad game. It's not bad, but it's one of those games that like I feel like I would appreciate it more if I hadn't played a bunch of Metroidvanias. And I've been wanting to get into a Metroidvania, but I just haven't found the right one yet, which I have to mention because the Steam sale's going on right now. I'm thinking about getting Turbo Kid because because
Ooh.
I haven't played it yet, and I know if I'm stuck, I know I can just ask you because you wrote the strategy guide. So,
Well, I haven't written the strategy guide yet, but
but it's all up here.
I did sign it. Here's the thing: I signed it before I had sold premium edition games
Mm,
at the end of 2023. They had just, I think, finished it on Switch and ported it. They just released it, so that was like a new thing. Is that they had just, I don't know if they just released it or just finished the patches to make sure it's playable well.
yeah,
But either way, I know now it's like ready to start the porting or not the porting, but the physical process.
yeah. But I just been wanting to kind of play a Metroidvania that doesn't feel like a Metroidvania, if that makes any sense. That feels like a little different. So I'm like, I kind of want to play Turbo Kid because the bicycle mechanics and all that stuff seems really, really cool. But
Turbo Kid's badass.
yeah, and then right now
It's one of my favorite.
16.99 on Steam. So
Not bad.
that's a pretty good deal. Now with that being said, a demo that I finally got to play that I was really excited that we talked about in a
Well,
previous.
before you
Oh,
move on though, looking at Chronicles of the Wolf, I think it's super interesting because this time it looks like they're going for those epic boss fights that you had with Symphony of the Night. Um,
mm.
Now, is it completely linear like a Castlevania?
No, it's more Metroidvania.
So it's open world match
Yeah,
because it reminds me a lot of Simon from Castlevania 2, Simon's
yeah,
Quest. Because Wallachia or whatever, I think was like level by level based. I don't think that was Metroidvania. I think that was Castlevania.
yeah,
So this might be their first time jumping into a Metroidvania, if that's
yeah.
the case.
Because usually they would always kind of have like a more Castlevania 2 feel, like the Lakari Chronicles are very Castlevania 2. Like the hub world and kind of
Yeah.
venturing through.
Now, would this be worth getting on Switch physically? Because they do have a physical and it's on
Ooh.
Amazon. It's like $30 free shipping.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like it's then you have the
yeah.
physical. Like, I mean, because that is one of the sects I'm going to do, like sections that I'm going to do, not have sex with it, Sandra, you
I
pervert.
mean,
Um,
I'm not going to judge, man. Whatever you want to do,
whatever you want to do with them
just don't,
cartridges.
just don't lick them. Just don't lick them.
Hey, start to go cross-eyed, you know what I mean? Um, No, but that's one of the sections I'm going to do for my collection for Switch as I collect later is going to be Metroidvanias. So I am going to do a
Yeah.
collection of all the Metroidvanias for Switch. So that'll be interesting. And right now it's $30. That's pretty damn
That's a
good.
good. I mean, I would like to have it physical because I mean it is one of those games that I feel like get it now while it's $30 because a couple of years from now someone's gonna be like, oh, that game's rare. You
Yep,
never know with these
depends.
indie games.
It depends on how much they print with it and all that.
Yeah,
Because if it sells out quick, it'll go up in price. If it don't sell out quick, it'll just stagnate. And like it depends on how desperate they are to sell copies. Because like if you're desperate and you take the price down like GameStop does, then the game
yeah.
gets demoted. So
But I
so
will
so
say,
what is your other game?
well, before I get into that, I will say as a closing note on Chronicles of the Wolf, it is a good game. Like these guys, if you are a Castlevania fan, like you will want to play this game. Like it will be great for the collection. $30, get it physically. Like I said, I think the only reason why I'm a little biased on it is because I've played so many, other Metroidvanias that, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like someone who eats a lot of spicy food, and it's like after a while, it's like your palate gets kind of numb.
Drinks a lot of
So
tequila. Drinks a lot
yeah,
of
yeah. It's
tequila.
always like, oh yeah, that's nothing. But the other game I
It's a
played
big tequila, though.
is, and by the way, I'm
Beef.
not I'm not drinking a beer. By the way, guys, if you've been watching chat, this is a Monster coffee drink. But
You're not going to sleep tonight. All right, let's go.
no, I'm not sleeping anytime soon. But the other game I've been playing, man, this is like comfort food. Okay, so we
Yeah.
talked about this game in a previous episode. It was like a JRPG. It was called
Yeah.
Starlight Legacy. And man, like, okay, so it's not going to reinvent the wheel of JRPGs when it comes to the narrative. It holds its influences like out front. It has that Super Nintendo Dragon Quest
The mode
2.
7, like little traversal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and the dialogue really has that almost like working designs kind of feel like comedy to it with certain parts. I mean, you start off with your mom waking you up and your friend, it's like a night, but there's no bad stuff happening because the world's at peace. So like you kind of sense an adventure, but you're also jealous of your friend because he's a soldier and you're not yet. But it's pretty fun. I like the battle system. The battle system is very, JRPG. I like that you can switch it where you can either, have it like menu where you choose, or you can have it button layout. It was like Sea of Stars, like the way they did that. So
Okay.
yeah, I thought it was really, really good. You can download the demo and it is currently on sale on Steam. I think it's like $10.
909.
Yeah.
$9.09. And dude, you talked about that, and it looks cool as shit. Because I mean, we did cover it, and I'm glad you were able to
Hmm.
give it a whirl. I definitely need to, but I'm gonna wait till I buy it. It is an East
Yeah.
Asia soft as well, so
Mm.
if it isn't already on a physical, it might get on one of those compilation physicals if they keep doing them.
Yeah, it
which
is.
I
It
think would
is
be
on all consoles as well. You can get on PlayStation 5 and Switch, but I ended up getting it on Steam. But
yeah. But yeah, these Steam sales, man. The summer sale happened while we've been since the last episode. Holy shit! I think I got like 20, 30 games. Including some crazy ones that were like 80% off, 90% off. Like I got some bangers, I got some crazy ones. I would have to like look on my actual email and go like I think it's like Steam, don't they say like thank you every time or something?
yeah, yeah, they send you a receipt, like digital
Thank
thing.
you for your purchase. So I had bought ones I want to say like so here's some of the crazy ones. I got Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror Fate for $2.
Ah, that's
Um
good.
and the Case of Benedict Fox, which is a Metroidvania, and it's fucking crazy. Um, but then like there is like 20 freaking games. Some of the standouts that I got, because we didn't add these all to the show notes.
Yeah.
I got Fox and Forests, which had a physical on Switch, and Fox and Forest cost me $1.99. All these are $1.99. There's a game called Bone Appetit. That's a pretty crazy one. Eterno Blade, which used to be on PlayStation Plus at one point and has a
Mm.
Switch physical. That was there. Sculptfold Moonlight Night, which is a Metroidvania, was $1.99. Redo, which is a classic one. Usurper, another Metroidvania. Venture Kid, which is like Mega Man game.
Venture Kid's fun. I like that one.
hmm
That's
Uh,
FE Studio, yeah.
I think Gex is another potential Metroidvania. And so there's just a ton of freaking games. Like just I just
Well,
added them all and I spent like $20 on like a ton of games.
well, also, the Steam sale's going on right now, but also I went on Good Old Games, and they have like crazy sales going on right now too.
Og does
Um,
too? Shit.
yeah, like a lot, especially like the good old games, like the retro stuff. So many games are like $1.99. It's crazy.
Dude, I didn't even look, but the day before I had found another 20 games and they were under $1.
Oh wow.
Super chibi night. These are ones I don't know. Super chibi night. To Hell with Hell. Big Fish, 69 cents. Um,
Nice.
Angel's Gear, which I covered on Indie Gaming Gems. Angel's Gear is a classic. Deathcron. Witchcrafty, which is actually by Pigeon Dev. We did the Pigeon Dev collection when I published back in the day. They did like a Metroidvania style game, which is a little clunky, but they should have patched it by now. Um, like tons of fucking games. Yeah, I was like looking, I'm like, oh, I have a whole nother list. So I probably spent like $30 on
Not
freaking so
bad.
many. Yeah,
Not
and
bad.
I have a million games that I'm never going to get to.
Well, see, that's what I'm eventually I'm going because the sale's going on until the 10th. This is the 6th that we're recording. I did mention that I was going to be doing a live stream Steam sale like hangout, and I am going to do that before the sale's over. So I'm looking at maybe doing it on maybe like the 7th or 8th or something like that.
You're going to do
Uh,
it on the 6th after you drink a bunch of caffeine, aka
Yeah.
right now.
I'll be editing the podcast while I'm shopping on Steam and talking to everybody like, wow, I love video games.
Psycho, psycho. Yeah, that'd be freaking crazy. Now I'm down to go into the chat when you're doing that, just a mess. Um,
I think that would just be fun. I mean, if anything, and this kind of segue to the other thing is the July 8th through the 11th is also Prime Day.
oh God,
The reason why I'm mentioning Prime Day is because if you're listening to this, folks, and you're like, we want to play some indie games, what's a great affordable way to play some indie games? The mini PCs, they're great. This isn't like a sponsor or anything, but with Prime, they're going to be having some great deals with back to school and stuff like that. So you can probably get like a decent mini PC that's normally like 350 bucks that you could play anything that we talk about on the show. You could probably get it for around like 200, 220. I've seen some really good deals. So be sure to
crazy.
check that out. And so yeah, well, my stream, I'm planning on doing it, and I'm going to have like a certain amount of money, and it's just going to be like, how many games can I get? I'm not going to go through my whole wish list. I want to find some games too in the chat. Some recommendations. We'll watch
Yeah,
some trailers and stuff like that. Maybe
that'd be
play some
cool.
demos. Be cool.
That'd be fun, yeah. So there was one game that I was able to play and actually beat while I was out here on leave, and it was very interesting. So I had um I had been reading about all the Switch 2 experiences with Switch 1 games. And it's supposedly you play freaking games on the Switch too, and it makes them all better. And there are
Mm,
tons of all the Switch channels right now. Instead of talking about Switch 2 stuff, since it's like you got a couple games, they're all covering all the old stuff and how they perform on
yeah.
Switch 2, which is awesome. I've been asking for people to cover Troll and I, and nobody has done it yet. Like I'm waiting. Troll and I is supposedly the worst one because it does not run on Switch. It probably runs pretty freaking good on Switch too. Um, but I decided that I was going to go back all the way to the launch of the Switch 1 and play Blaster Master Zero.
Which I feel like we talked about that in a previous episode. We talked about the Blaster Master games because I haven't really played them too much, but I remember you were telling me like these were really good games to jump into.
In the day, I had Blaster Master on
Mm,
the NES, and I think I got it for
yeah,
probably a Christmas or something. And I only got a couple games a year, and that
yeah.
was one of them. And I was never great at it. I actually, because days before the internet, days before I didn't even have a strategy guide, I didn't know where the hell to go. And I don't even know if I realized how to activate the power-ups that you get as you go through, because you go through all the dungeons and you get power-ups for Sophia, which is your, actual tank. And one of them is a hover. And at the very beginning, you have to go up and find a secret at the very beginning. You can hover up and find a new area. Um, what I like about Blaster Master Zero is number one, there's a whole lot of story and voiceovers and everything. It's all in Japanese, at least the one I have. And it shows you where to go. Like there's an icon in there, so it says go
I
over here.
like that. I like
And
that.
so that's what kept me going. So I decided, because I had not beaten the game, but I was almost at the end. I decided to start fresh. And I played all the
Mm,
way from the beginning, played through the whole thing, and I beat the end boss. And then there's an ultimate end boss that's not in the NES game, that there's like this crazy galactic version, which is cool. And then I beat him, and the girl that you interact with, which she's from the Japanese version and in the comic books, and now she's canon in the game. She like just leaves. And
oh
I was like,
wow.
okay, cool. So I beat the game, got the credits, all this shit. I looked online though. There is a secret ending that I might have to go back and get. Um,
Uh
but what I love about that game, though, is that constant progression, and gated exploration, like a Metroidvania, where you'll get like more powerful shots. Now you can kill this one enemy that's blocking away or whatever. And they added a bunch of boss fights that didn't exist in the NES version on the overworld, which is cool because all the boss fights were in the overhead version. So you're
mm,
you're driving as the tank, you pop out, you're this little turd that can get killed by everyone, and you go into an area, and then it's overhead Zelda style where you get to shoot, which is fun.
nice.
Yeah. And that's when you usually follow the bosses in the NES version, but you also get power ups and things. The irony is, because there's this little icons that pop up and the map is so easy, you actually don't go to any of the red herring areas. So there's like a ton
Mm,
of caves, and you're supposed to like go to the cave, see if there's a progression for the level, and then sometimes it's just some like power ups, like a health
mm,
power up or something, and you wasted your time. Well, you don't have to, because literally it tells you if there's icons that say if it's a bad guy or if there's a power up in there
mhm,
you need. So what I found out though is that if you don't get every power up and beat every enemy, you get the bad ending. So I didn't get the
mm,
good ending because I didn't get every single power up. Apparently there was like one or two that I'd missed. So once you do that, then it continues, and I think you actually have to fight. You get a different version of a tank, and you have to fight the tank or something. It's supposed it looks
oh,
crazy. I looked it up on
huh.
YouTube. It looks insane. I don't even know if I could beat it. Um, but it's crazy. And the version that I have, though, is I have the Japanese physical Xander, which is the version to get. The Japanese physical is the Blaster Master Zero trilogy. It has all three games complete on the card.
Oh, that's
So
great.
when you pop it in,
Yeah.
all three pop up. So now the question is, do I go back and find the rest of the stuff and do this battle that's apparently like you have to be a master to beat, or do I continue with Blaster Master Zero 2?
Ah, that's a good question. That's a good. I would say, how much is it eating at you? That's the important thing. If it's like one of those things that you're like, oh yeah, I can, maybe go back, maybe go to Blaster Master 2. But if it's something that you're you're really thinking about, I think you need to go and do it. I think you
Well,
need to take it.
I think I need to look and see how many things I missed. If it's not
Yeah,
that many, maybe I'll go knock it out. But like back in the day, I was OCD. I was a completionist. I had to get all the fucking things, and it drove me nuts. Now that we have infinite freaking games to play, I kind of just like, maybe I'll just watch it on YouTube, and then I'll move on to Blaster Master Zero 2 in the future. I might not
yeah.
even do it soon,
I mean,
and
I'm
so
at the point that if I can just beat a game, if I can just finish the game, I'm happy.
yeah.
You know?
And I played it on. I don't know if there was multiple difficulties, but I'm pretty sure I played on normal mode or whatever. And I did start another game, which I started Mario versus Donkey Kong, Switch version, which was that remake, and put it on normal mode. I was just playing around while I was sitting at my in-laws with massive sounds going on and playing. Apparently, I beat half the game just sitting there. So but like that's not indie, but it's fun, and I love playing Donkey Kong. So
Yeah.
it's a good time.
Now, speaking of indie, I think we can jump right into our one of our budgets. I think we'll jump into a budget, especially with the Steam sale going on right now, because this game is only 59 cents, and that is Muse Dash.
Muse Dash.
Yeah, Muse
So,
Dash
and
is interesting.
and this also goes into something that I have seen a lot recently. Holy shit, Muse Dash is 53 cents and it's already in my library. Of course it is. Um, so this is where I am struggling as a collector, especially a Nintendo Switch collector, because this has a Nintendo Switch physical. Now, assumption is it's 40 bucks.
Mm,
Or do I get it for 53 cents?
yeah,
Like, do I absolutely need Muse Dash this bad? It is a paradise of parkour and rhythm game. That's what it says. Paradise of
yeah. It
parkour and rhythm.
it looks
Like,
like an endless runner rhythm style game. I mean, I like these games a lot. So
it looks cool as shit. And the thing is, though, is even in the broken English, though, that's what it says. But it looks cool. It looks fun. But it has a Switch physical, and it's like,
yeah,
do we buy the Switch physical, or do I just buy it later if it ends up having to be a must play? Because for 53 cents, people like support the developer and buy the damn thing for 53 cents. Like that's a no brainer.
yeah,
Now there is a ton. There's Muse Dash Plus, which has DLC and it's $20. So I think that's where they get you is that maybe there's extra songs and extra content at the
hmm,
$20 upgrade, and I assumptions, Xander, that everything is on that cartridge,
yeah,
the plus. So then it's a $20 digital value is great for a physical. Um, but it says that you do like combos with the rhythm, the parkour. There's a cute and chic chibi art style, but it's like anime style. And there's enemies, there's bosses. Uh, there's 62 songs on the regular, and then in the plus, there's over 500 songs in the plus.
holy crap.
500. So that's a bit crazy. So for 53 cents, you can get 62 songs,
Yeah.
and then you get 500. So I could imagine that they may or may not have on 500 on that deal on that cartridge. Mean. But so what do you think about that though? Because I have seen this happen consistently now because Super Rare has announced a couple games, and my first thing I do is I go to Steam now and I'm like, it's $2. Why
Yeah.
would I buy the physical for $40 when it's $2? Unless it's in one of my collection sections. Like it's a
Mhm.
Metroidvania. Then it's like, all right, do I buy Chronicles of the Wolf for $30? And it's 30, not 40.
Yeah.
And but a lot of these limited ones, these smaller games like a Muse Dash, probably $40. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look just in case. But what
Yeah,
do you think about that?
for me, I mean, man, I love physical media so much, but it's to the point where I don't have the room for it all. So the real estate's an issue. But also a lot of times I play a game and I'll end up putting it down and not pick it back up again. And with that being said, I feel like I can justify a game that's 53 cents compared to spending 30,
Com
40 bucks.
Compared to $434, Xander, on
What?
eBay for the regular edition pre-ordered on Japan. I'm literally looking on the shop right.
Oh, wow.
It's apparently rare. Um, but on it also has a US release for $34. So I'm not
Oh.
sure why the original Japanese release is $434.
You know what it might be? It might be licenses on the music. Maybe they had to change like some music they didn't have rights to, multi-regional
Yeah,
bands or something.
because the art's different. What the hell, people?
So
Like
maybe it
that's
has like
right.
songs that were only available on that first version that makes it more rare,
And
you
it's
know?
pre-owned too. It's not even new.
That's nuts.
What the hell? Like, does it even say why? It doesn't.
Why
It's
are
just
you
that
charging me so much for this, sir?
it's like the item says Muse Dash regular edition. That's all it says. But why is it $400? Like, what the hell?
What's wrong
I'm
with you?
I'm not gonna look at solds right now or any of that shit because not worth the time. But like $400 or
That's
53 cents.
yeah.
I think we'll do 53 cents, Xander. Have a good time.
It looks fun. I will say it looks fun. Doesn't look $400 fun, but it looks fun.
Well, there have been quite a few games in the $400 to $500 mark from year three as I'm creating the book. I'm looking
Mm.
them up, and I'm finishing the physical. Actually, I finished the U.S. physicals for it now, and U.S. and English physicals in year three. And there are some three, four, $500 games.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I mean, if you want to try to find a robot named Fight right now that I released from year four. I think it's four, it might be year five. That shit is like $400 or $500, man. My own releases, and I'm not releasing anymore. We're not printing anymore. And
Yeah.
we did a separate release. We did a different version with a steelbook because we had some extra steelbooks. We're like, we'll do a steelbook edition because I don't think nobody really talks about things like that. But when you order steelbooks, and we ended up doing like a limited amount of the retro editions that had steelbooks in them. Well, you had to order like a shit ton of steelbooks, more than we were producing for that edition. So we had like an extra 100 steelbooks or something. So we're like, we'll do a steelbook edition.
Yeah.
And instead of doing more retros, like I'm like, no, that shit's done because we're not jerks. And also, I've never been the type to just like print it because it'll sell. Like I like to
Mm.
make cool, I like to make cool shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of cool shit, I this is because now we're going over the beyond
well,
the over the
we only have
horizon.
one more budget section game though, Resurrection of Mind.
We talked about that last episode.
Did we?
Yeah, that was the one with the Tomb Raider chick.
Oh, we did
Yeah, I
talk
saw
about
that.
it.
I saw that, and I'm like, oh, it must have been a typo. So, but yeah, we
Uh,
talked about that. It's still a
I,
cheap game, still fun.
the Tomb Raider shit game is cool.
But this is cool shit because this is recommended by ThunderDome. This game right here, this
Yeah.
what is it? Like Awata a
Oh,
a
Awada,
Awata
Awita,
uh
Awita.
Journey of Hope, and talking about Chronicles of the Wolf and then looking at this game kind of proves what I was talking about earlier about kind of just being a little spoiled on the Metroidvania stuff because you look at this. Now this right here, this caught my eye. I'm like, the pixel graphics look great. I love the dodging mechanic. Uh, Compared to Chronicles of the Wolf, I feel like this looks like a better game, in my opinion. Like this
Yeah.
game looks really good.
What a lot of the some of the reviews are saying is less is more. So it's not doing
Mm,
a lot of craziness, but less is more. But it is saying that there's some like it's mixed reviews though. Some people are saying that
mm,
there are some empty hallways and not a lot of enemies. So,
ah,
you have your glass half full saying less is more. That's cool. And you have somebody says, I want more action in my game. There's no level ups or uses of their currency that you collect, so no reward for fighting your enemies either. The other piece.
mm,
So that's that is the criticisms, but it was just released June 18th,
mm,
and some of the people were playing the pre-release, so that review could be from the pre-release, and maybe they had
ah,
updated. So I'd never like to judge a game until we fully like play through it ourselves. And
mm.
when we're doing these on the horizons, like this one, it would be interesting to see. Lunchbox, tell us, like, what is your experience with it? Because I know he did a review, but he'll shoot us a quick message usually, and he'll be like,
Oh
"No, man,
yeah.
it's fucking good. Leave a widow alone, or you're saying it wrong."
He always recommends some really good games. So, I mean,
And so that's where I'm like, that's like maybe some of that stuff was fixed in the final version.
but yeah, and it's not a too expensive game either. What is it like? What is it like? 12
Well,
bucks? 12? Not bad. Not bad. Like I said,
it's like
I
12.
think I think it looks good. Yeah, I like the pixel graphics. Like it,
Yeah.
I feel like it has a little bit more personality compared to like Chronicles of the Wolf. Because Chronicles of the Wolf looks like a Castlevania game, where this looks like it's like we got our own flavor. I like that. So, speaking of flavor, this game's
Oh,
like oozing with
speaking of
flavor.
flavors,
This is
spinning,
this is Flavor Town right here. Metro Gravity.
dude. This game, when I saw it, I was like, "What the hell?" It's like a fever dream, man.
Yeah, it is trippy. It is so trippy. It's a puzzle
Yeah,
game.
it's like you do like it's like an action puzzle game where you bend gravity to escape, and you're like in a dream world. So like as you're playing, like things warp to the sides and just look crazy.
It's like
But
Interstellar, it's like
it's
it's
in
really
all
cool.
3D. It's like 3D pixel art, kind of like Dreamcast era-ish, between
Mm.
PS1 and PS2. Looks awesome.
Yeah, that and it's currently well, it's not on sale, but it is 12.99. There is a demo, so you can try that at you can try it out. And there is okay, that's I was looking at DLC, but that's actually the soundtrack. You can get the soundtrack for $5.
Mhm.
But yeah, it
It's
looks trippy.
I mean, they're talking about the story with the cast of the characters, lots of different enemies, and you fight them to the beat, apparently, of the unique
Oh,
soundtrack. So I'm not sure if like you get more bonuses when you fight them to the beat. And it's all low poly by design. So they
yeah.
did the low poly. And there's a lot of jazz music, apparently, is what they're all into. So you have to time parries, dodges, and jumps to the beat of the song.
Yeah,
So
this looks
it
cool.
is.
I added it to my wish list for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Let me see. Did I already do that? Yep, it's already on my wish list. And yeah, it looks cool as hell. I don't know if we looked up the developer for the last one, but this guy is the only one that they have on Steam.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. Oh, going on.
Well, this next one, we're kind of stepping it back. This looks a little bit more retro. You know,
Super retro,
super retro.
like Nintendo NES retro, Metroidvania Nintendo retro
But this
with
is
bullet hell, not retro.
yeah, this game kind of makes me think of like Cave Story. That's what it made me think of when I was watching some of the footage. But Bloom Thrice uh
Bloom Thrice.
looks really, really cool.
What it kind of makes looks like to me is like I want to be the guy or Battle Kid Fortress Apparel, like a little bit like they're trolling you a little bit when you're playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, but that's kind of what it feels like to me. But yeah, there's. capybaras apparently in this game, so they love that. Um, and you get to know all the residents that throughout the home world as you go into all the different biomes. And it shows like different nine distinct areas in the different biomes that you have in the game. There's collectibles, there's HP cards and skill cards and types and badges. So there's a lot of ways to
Mm.
upgrade your character and modify their attack patterns, which is always cool. Which is it's a Hollow Knight inspired thing that they did. They kind of set the standard on what it feels right. So some of these other Metroidvanias added. There's like 12 to 20 hours, multiple
Yeah.
endings.
Yeah, when I look at the because when you scroll down, it'll tell you like games that are similar that you may have played, and yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of games that were in that list are games that we talked about in previous episodes, like Crypt Custodian, of course, Hollow Knight, Blasphemous 2. I need to play
Ori.
Blasphemous 2. Need
I
to play
see
that.
Ori in mine, Celeste, Rabbi Ribby, Lekai, or Laikia, or whatever the Metrovania on the motorcycle, which you need to play, by the way.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Tunic, Gestalt, Pipistrello. There we go.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it looks like a fun game. I like the pastel aesthetic to it.
Super low poly, like not
Yeah,
low poly,
low
but super low pixel.
yeah, and like lo-fi. Like I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Last one I think is a different one, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Through the Nightmares.
Yes, you are, Xander.
This one right here, for some reason, when I was watching it, because the guy you play as, he's completely yellow, and I just rewatched the Mortal Kombat movie that came out back in like 2021, and you know
Oh yeah.
that guy Cole, who is like totally just plot armor throughout the whole movie, so much so that he has like golden armor in the last fight. That's what made me think of for some reason, and I'm bringing that up. But Through the Nightmares is a
Interesting.
challenge is a challenge driven platformer for anyone who's had a restless night run, jump, and charge your size to overcome the night traps. So this is like a really cool looking platformer.
It is very interesting looking, and like I think there's some Xbox reviews and stuff, so it may also be on Game Pass. Um,
Ah.
yeah, just because there's a review from it. You become the Dream Master, so
Mm.
but there are size shifting, so you get to change your size of your character to fit through tight spaces and to be able to like edge your platform. So you're like your character like gets big and small and stuff, which I think is dope.
That is really cool. It's currently it is probably the most expensive game that we talked about this
Oh,
episode because it is 19.99. It's not on sale. There's no demo, but it
demo.
no demo.
And the Sandman team has only worked on this game. Now, the thing is, for all the listeners, hold on to your butts because I've been gone for 2 weeks. And so yesterday I spent hours going through all the games that came up of interest that weren't on sale. So the
Yep.
new and noteworthy for next episode is going to be ridiculous to the point where I'm writing notes next to certain games that I thought were more interesting than others. So, like, next episode is going to be freaking crazy because these were just ones that I found like as I was going to visit family, and so I didn't do any hunting when I was out, and
Yep.
shit's about to get crazy.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know we. And we still never uploaded our Switch Mania playcast yet,
Oh
which we need to do.
really?
Which we need.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I didn't have time to do any editing. I was in a fucking hole.
that's
It was
right.
terrible. So I will jack around with that here hopefully this week, and maybe you'll see it up on the Game Collectors slash the old Playcast podcast feed. I'll just toss it up there.
I mean, we'll probably do another one in the future because I'm gonna be getting a Switch 2 in the next couple of months.
Hmm.
Like, 'cause I'm planning on getting it in September. That's when I'm getting it. So
Yeah,
by then we might have to do another episode. Be like a couple months later. Well, how do you feel about it? And how do I feel?
yeah.
Being such a late adopter to the console.
Well,
Because by
and
then
I'm not
it's
going to
like,
change the name of it. It'll still be called the Game Collector, but the episode will be called the Switch Mania. Switch
Yeah.
Mania. Switch Mania 2 is what I'm gonna
Yeah.
call it. Yeah,
There you go.
that's all I'm gonna do. And then we call it like we'll call it more Switch Mania or whatever, like the episode will be called. Cause yeah, there's other podcasts that I've done. They're not dead. We just haven't done any content because
Yeah.
we're playing fucking indie games all the time. There's no time. No time to do any of that stuff.
Oh
The
yeah.
video game bullshit where you were interviewed on still exists too. It has been it's a crazy time to be a gamer. And now I finally have my game set up over here down in the basement, the Retro Museum, the Basement Museum. And so I will be playing more retro games. I figure, taking a page out of my mother-in-law who likes to have a TV in every room, even if it is the dining room that's connected to the kitchen. You have one in the dining room and one in the kitchen, and then right around the corner in the living room, another TV. They're all going.
Yeah.
All the episodes on the same channel are not synced audio. It's great. Doesn't
Yeah.
drive me nuts
It's
at all.
nice ambience.
But I figure I need to have indie games on all three floors of my house. So that way I can just like go up there. Oh, the Odin Pros up on the bedroom floor, and I got the Steam Deck on the main floor, and I got my Legion Go with my Steam on the
God.
bottom floor.
It
But
reminds me of this video I had of Street Fighter 2 when I had Street Fighter 2 running on like every single screen thing that I had in my house. So I had like Street Fighter 2 like on the arcade one up. I had it on a tablet. I had it on like two cell phones. I had it on like two different televisions all in the same room.
oh, that's ridiculous. In the
Oh,
same
it
room.
was like it was like so much Street Fighter 2, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So I
nuts.
had alluded to something earlier, and so I just so the listeners know that I remember what I said earlier. Remember I said it was a little bit of payback for my nephew Zach, who had helped
That's
me
right. That's right.
load. So the day before, I went to his, or it was a couple days before, I went to his band. His band is called Side Action because everybody likes to get a little side action, Xander.
Oh yeah.
Um, and they go there and they play tons of cover songs, which in Indiana, Northwest Indiana, you gotta play cover songs to get gigs.
Oh
And
yeah.
they were in this bar though, and this bar was too small for their sound. Like you could not hear the guitarist. I told the guitarist,
Uh,
turn your shit up because I can't hear your medium. I can't hear your middle. I can hear your solos when you're screaming, and I can hear like the bass guitar going. And my nephew's on drums, and he's loud as shit because
yeah.
he's used to playing normal. And so they didn't turn it up. But in the middle of the show, the lead singer, they put him up to this. They said, "Hey, Zach has a special guest on here. His Uncle Jeff, and he used to be in a metal band, which I was in a metal band before I joined the army 20 years ago. I also
Yeah.
played the guitar in like 10 years at
Yeah.
all." And so I was like, fuck it. Went up on stage. I was drinking some tequila already. And for like 15 minutes I was shredding. And so
Yeah. I
and
saw
so
the video. I was like, oh
so
shit,
like a
there's the
short video
Jeff.
with that was a small portion. But I kept that shit simple because they didn't adjust the freaking middles. I just played on the top and the bottom. I was just
Yeah.
mucking around because the middles weren't like, and so it was funny though, as my wife told me afterward, she's like, the guitarist, because they gave the lead guitarist was still there, and I overshadowed him apparently. But the second guitarist, the rhythm guitarist, gets the guitar and like looks at it like gets the guitar under her, like my guitar could do this. My wife said I should have done a Back to the Future and been like, oh yeah, yeah, sorry, I guess you guys weren't ready for this.
Yeah.
But your kids are gonna love it.
It's great.
Like it was hilarious though because like yeah he was like oh man maybe I'm out of a job because this guy's I'm like yeah but I haven't
Those
played for him.
those small bars are a nightmare. Oh my God. Like you were talking about it, and I was getting flashbacks when I would play shows because our band was so loud. Like we were just
Oh
so loud. And we were loud before we were even in like the basement shows, because we were like a three piece and my guitarist, like he had two Marshall stacks and I had like a 410 and 112 bass cabinet and we would be playing and it got to the point where we used to hand out earplugs to people. Like we had a big jar of earplugs that we would hand to people and they thought we were joking. We're like, no, no, this is going to help. This is going to help you listen to us better because we're just too loud.
No, what was funny was is right before I didn't know I was going on stage. Right before there were some like bar guys there, just some random dudes. Like, who the hell's that band? And I was like, oh, that's freaking Side Action. They're badass. I was like, let's do a shot for Side Action. So we all did shots, and I was like, that's my
Yeah.
nephew playing and all this shit. Then they called me up, and the guys were like, what the fuck? And so I went up there and shredded. I came back down. They were like, what the hell? They taking shots with me. We did shots of like whatever right before I went on. So I was like. Thank goodness.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I hadn't played in that forever, but I used to play all the time. We like the band NME, New Metal Empire, and then when the genre of new metal came around, we weren't new metal, so we called
Yeah.
ourselves None More Evil. After that, None More Evil is what we changed it to. But yeah, we played all over Indiana, Chicagoland, and hard rock, all the crazy shit. It was fun.
Hell
And
yeah.
then, yeah, and I always have to give my wife shit because she was supposed to come see me. This is before I met her, before I joined the army. She stood me up.
Mm.
Um, and me later on didn't realize that it was the same girl when I met her online because we met online because I was deployed and
Yeah.
we set up a date and went out on a date when I came back in town. Mm. Yeah,
Mhm.
ever since been married 15 years, so I think it worked out. Uh, But I still give her shit to this day that she stood me up in my band. Back in the day, I was like, hey, we could have been together a lot longer. But I was
You could
also
you,
like a lumberjack, so I was
you
big
could have
dude.
wrote her. You're like you could tell her like I could have wrote you a song. I would have wrote you a song.
To this day, she wants me to keep playing guitar, and I'm like, I'm good. I I did unpack my guitars today, so I have my
I was about
acoustic.
to ask. I was about to ask if, being up there kind of gave you that itch. Because I mean, I love being on stage. So like, if I ever have that moment, I can get back up there. I'll gobble it up because it is a good feeling, like being up there and playing, even
Well,
going
and
that long.
my thing is though is that I'm going to create a tribute album for Kyle because Kyle was in the band. We were in the band together.
Yeah.
I'm going to create a tribute album. And I was planning on just recording it, like probably with Zach, grab bass guitar, so
Yeah.
no, and probably like record a tribute one. His band after I joined the army was called Dystopian Sunfall, so I figured calling it Shattered Dystopia would be appropriate.
Oh yeah.
And that would be a cool help. But now Zach is excited because drummer, he wants to actually play now. And I'm like, well, when I'm retired, we'll see. If you're in Florida, then we can tour. But the plan is to create a tribute. And one of the cool things is as AI becomes more and
Mm-hmm.
more prevalent, you can take stuff that people record and extend it and give it new life. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to create options of stuff that Kyle can no longer play because he passed away, what might have played, and then record it. And
Yeah,
so,
and what's really cool is because they just started doing this with the Sono app, is you can actually extend it and then you can actually dissect each stem.
okay,
So what's really cool is like say you get his guitar, you extend that, but you want to have like someone actually play drums or play bass
yeah,
or actually sing, you can have that happen as well. You can take all those stems out and you just have the guitar, of like Kyle's like extended play.
because
That's cool.
that's kind of the ideas that I want to take it. I'll probably pay for it so that way I get
Mhm.
unlimited to mess around and then perfect it. And because he
Yeah.
has because like we have about 1 to 2 days of music that we had recorded,
Mhm.
days, not hours. And so I got stuff where I could pull, and there's similarities of certain riffs that he has done over the years. And he was one of those where it was like rhythm and groove metal. So it was like
Yeah.
this is why I waited till the end, Xander. So those that listen to the episode, they can hear us talk metal after we
Oh
got done.
yeah.
But it's like it's completely dope. It's cool. And what I want to do though is get that shit recorded, get it on vinyl, and then get it on some video game, indie game soundtracks.
Yeah.
Because 100%, I know plenty of indie developers that would love to. Um, and so, just so those that had listened to us talk to the end, did you see an indie game trailer, Xander, for a brand new game that is a sequel to a game that I had released? That's a Metroidvania, and it's called. There's a sequel to Cathedral.
Oh, okay.
And they launched, the developer hit me up and said, "Did you see this?" And he launched, and it's a trailer. There's a new cathedral, and some
Mm.
of the artwork was done by Phil Summers, who did all the Nintendo Power artwork, is doing the Mega Man thing. He did some of the background art for the freaking trailer. And that trailer looks so freaking cool. They sent it to me yesterday, so it's as fresh as yesterday at the time of this recording, the time you're listening to this shit.
Wow.
And there's a sequel to Cathedral. Now, I don't run Premium Edition, but I told him, I was like, I'm sure that Josh would love to sign that for a physical. And
Yeah.
like, because like Cathedral's a badass game. You don't play as a knight this time, you play as another character within the universe. It looks badass.
I have to check that
Like,
out.
dude, it's cool as shit. And the same developer worked on Alwa's Awakening and Alwa's Legacy.
Oh,
And
those are such good games.
such good
Great.
games, and so because Alwa is actually a little makes a cameo in Cathedral, which is awesome.
Ah,
But yeah, like and the Cathedral was one I wrote, the helped with manuals and all the fun stuff that we did with them. And so some of those games are like my S tier games that I had released, and that's one of my favorites in there. And Paul Niemeyer's art with that one was so cool. Like it was a fun release, and to see that there's a sequel for those that see. So if you listen to the end, we throw in a little indie
yep.
special. Not even in our notes, so I should probably add it to the notes to
Yeah,
let
I
you know.
added in there because I'm gonna look up that trailer after the show to put into the B-roll. So
Dude, it's freaking
yeah.
cool as shit. And yeah, Phil Summers did some of the art for it, which I think is cool as shit too. That guy is awesome. He's a cool dude. He did a cover for me for Metroidvania, the slipcase, limited slipcase for
Mm,
phase one. And after that, he's busy as shit because he's doing all the Mega Man stuff and writing his own books.
yeah.
And yeah. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. And I will be continuing to work on books. When they get done, I release them. I'm never in a hurry. I do it for fun. So I know people want Switch Year 3. They want Metroidvania Phase 3, which I haven't even started, but I will be starting it soon.
Mm,
But I also decided, and this is what happened with Switch Year 3, I decided that I need to add more to my Indie Gaming Gems book. I want to add
mm.
more interesting tidbits to the indie game. So I'll probably, maybe we can make it a damn episode,
Yeah.
and we go through every game that's going to be in Indie Gaming Gems, and we kind of just give it a quote, and I'll put that quotable in the book from the episode.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be
That might be
cool.
fucking fun.
That would be
And that
fun.
might, yeah, so maybe we'll do it that way. Because like I'm not gonna have time to go through and like I'm not gonna thoroughly play all the games, but I'm gonna play it enough to get an opinion. But then it'll be like, all right, so what do we think of this? And then I'll like
Mm.
get a quotable for it. It'd be cool as shit. Should we hit up the executives now?
Yes.
Xander.
Yes.
Xander, do we need to do the executives?
Well, we want to thank these folks. We'll start first with Akaroth.
Or is it a Krylov?
Yeah, tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato. Um, who's to say? And it was interesting is because you get access with the Patreon for supporting. You get access to like to the Discord and all the things. He actually saw I was watching Blazing Saddles on Plex while I was out traveling. He's like, "Is this the first time you've seen it?" I was like, "No." I actually saw a YouTube video on Blazing Saddles, and apparently the where the horse gets punched in the face. Um,
Mhm.
it wasn't it was they really punched a horse in the face.
Oh
Like
shit.
I was
Poor
like, shit.
guy.
So I gotta watch this again because like this is shit that would not like that movie has so many jokes that would not fly today, and it's so ridiculously over the top.
That's like that one scene. I can't remember the movie. It's got Hulk Hogan and he's riding a motorcycle and like in the background you just see this guy throw his dog into like the ocean.
Like ridiculous.
It's weird. It's one
Well,
of those like
and
weird movie things.
so the Blazing Saddles thing was hilarious because my daughter, I put it on just to when I was testing to make sure my Plex worked out in the basement here, and I put it on, and she sees it, and it's like there's these KKK guys going and walking
Yeah.
and talk to a Wild West guy. She's, oh my God, that's inappropriate. And then they take it off, and it's the black sheriff, and he's like running around. She's like, oh no, that's funny because it's like it's supposed to be exactly. They are making fun of everyone. They're making
Yep.
fun of the KKK guys because that's just ridiculous. Like it is so over the top.
So
It's so
good.
cool. It's so good. And yeah, but apparently there's just Spaceballs 2 coming.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. I was about to mention. Also,
But we've got to move over to David Isherwood, perhaps.
indeed, indeed.
Oh, you
And
did it. You gave him an
oh
indeed,
yeah,
indeed.
wouldn't be an
Now I
episode without it.
got to give you your guy. I know you like saying the long one.
I yeah. And again, a big shout out to Lunchbox, aka the disgruntled gamer from ThunderDome Gaming Society, for his recommendations, especially with this episode. He talked
I
about
mean,
some really good stuff.
over the last 2 weeks, he's given a lot more. This is just the
Hmm.
ones that we just pop in one or so in here, but we always appreciate it. And the indie Facebook group that we posted to, it's over in there, and he always is posting videos. So check him out on YouTube, Thunderdome Gaming Society. It's really cool. And then of course you have Mr. Jesse Glenn, and I was actually talking with him while I was out for the last two.
Hmm.
And when I was out, or no, it was before that, but he was hunting for his Intellivision stuff. So he's finding all the retro
Hell
things.
yeah.
Always finding the retro things, which I think is dope just as cool. So, and you can join these guys as executive producer that we'll talk about, yeah, and all the things. Is on the Patreon, but the Patreon's also free to join. Every once in a while, when I post one of these episodes, I will just do the Patreon link just because you can go on there and just literally join for free. So try to get people just to join up. But you do have extra goodies at the different levels. You can get access to every single digital version that I've ever done for like a cup of coffee a month, which is crazy. I have been uploading one book every once in a while. I just throw one up, so they're not all up there. So you always get like a little treat that pop in. And
Yeah.
then there's one that I send physical items, and so a physical item like I'm reaching over like this is going to be the next quarter. I'm gonna send physical items. So it's a Mortal Kombat poster that I custom painted with orange. It's a little bit blue light here from the thing, but it's the same
Yeah.
orange as the big guy over there. It's the mini version of the big guy over here. Um, but yeah, I'm doing one of those, and now I'm throwing tons of little goodies as I'm working on projects all the time. And then the executive producers, where we shoot you, give you a shout out at the end of every episode that we do, as well as you get a wooden book cover that I will be custom designing for the book that everyone decides. We all have to come to a
Mm.
decision that, hey, this is the one y'all have that I haven't done one for, and I'm going to make it. And the thing is that I used to hand ink my book covers. So there's a Virtual Boy one where I hand stained it red wood stain, and then hand inked all of the art
Oh
like
wow.
that. And there's only a couple. The Virtual Boy one's out of print and probably never gonna be printed again once it's out. There's a couple copies on the website. Once it's out because I can't make it again. So like
Well, I
not
mean,
because of other things, because InDesign changed stuff and I lost the version.
and again, that's one of the reasons why, we talk about the Patreon, because the Patreon, it's free to join, but that's, in my opinion, that's the best way to know what's going on,
I'm always
because
doing shit, dude.
there's
It's
always something
and
going on. So,
and when I was been traveling, it's been hard to update it. So I've only been updating it with the episode. So the episode two is a good way because you'll hear, oh, he's gonna go to the video game summit in Illinois. And then
mm,
2 weeks after, and we'll be talking about in the next episode, I'll be going to Classic Game Fest in Austin, Texas. And that one's gonna be wild. And I designed like a new table skirt and stuff this morning. So I'm having a new table skirt
nice.
for it, which looks badass. But yeah, I'll be going out to that. And so those would be the only two I do before I start work again. And then, try to get Xander out to Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
That'd be awesome. Hell yeah.
Get him out.
But I think this is
But
gonna be a good way to conclude the episode.
it is. It is. Indeed, indeed.
Indeed, indeed. And again, guys, I want to thank you so much for checking out another exciting episode of the Indie Credible podcast. And we'll catch you guys next week. As always, happy gaming and support indie.
You fucking better.